क्या आपको पता है whom I am following these days? I am following Prime Minister Modi. Prime Minister Modi is visiting to Russia. So, what is special about India-Russia relations and this very specific visit? If you look for my answer, everything is special. First, the leadership, because this is the third consecutive victory of Prime Minister Modi, which is not a mean achievement. At the same time, Putin, the strong man of Russia, he is also elected for the fifth consecutive term. Thus, the two strong men will be meeting each other. Now, what else is special? You all remember the days of Indo-Soviet Article 9 of 1971 treaty, which makes India and Russia a de facto allies. Again, in the year 2000, when Putin visited India, that time we started a strategic partnership, and since then there are annual summits. Now, was there any occasion when there was disruption in the summit? Yes, in the year 2020. So, what was the reason? According to the officials from both sides, the reason was COVID. But the political sense tells that perhaps Russia's displeasure with Indo Pacific. Russia, like China, is neither comfortable with Indo Pacific nor comfortable with the idea of Quad, which contains the two traditional rivals of Russia, one that is USA and another that is Japan. So, 2020 was the year when everybody was predicting that India Russia relation is in deep crisis. But year 2021, when Vladimir Putin visited India for the 21st annual summit, and the two countries have signed 28 agreements or MOU on 28 areas, and thus reassured about this partnership. If I quote Prime Minister Modi, he always say that Russia has been one of the most important pillar of India's nation building. If I quote S. Jaishankar, what he says that India-Russia relation is the only constant. I am repeating, India-Russia relation is the only constant in otherwise turbulent geopolitics of our time. So, what is the word defining India-Russia relation? It is steady. If you describe China-Pakistan relations as all-weather friends, you can describe India-Russia relationship as long-standing, all steady. However, is it the real situation or there are some causes of concern? So, how Vladimir Putin describes India? If I give reference to the new foreign policy and strategic concept which he brought in 2023, he describes India as the most important partner. But what Vladimir Putin talks about China, of course, no limit partnership and the brothers forever. What else is the bigger concern? The bigger concern is the growing closeness between Russia and Pakistan. Russia's flirtations with Pakistan are not new. Even during Cold War, because of its geostrategic location, Russia wanted to court Pakistan, but Pakistan left Russia for US and China. So after Cold War, Russia has entered into a very secret defense military partnership agreement with Pakistan. Now Russia also conduct military exercises with Pakistan and is also providing offensive weapons to Pakistan, for example, Mi-35 helicopters. Russia is also investing in Pakistan's energy sector. Now, let us look at China. Russia has huge dependency on China thanks to US policies of sanctions, but it adversely impact India's security. I do not know whether you know or not, Russia also supplies weapons like Sukhoi 35 and S-400 to China. So we do have some obvious security concerns. Now, when our Prime Minister is visiting to meet his special and privileged friends, what he should talk about? There are some very important concerns. India-Russia trade has increased, but the balance of trade is heavily tilted in favors of Russia. Russia is the second country with which we have the adverse balance of trade. If our trade deficit with China is around 87 billion US dollars, it is reaching around 61 billion US dollars if I talk about Russia. So, Prime Minister has to talk about it. How to manage this? Because we have not been able to increase the import. So, the first question I expect Prime Minister Modi to ask from his special friend is how to manage this adverse balance of payment. Now, the second question that I want to ask is how to handle the current stalemate of rupee ruble crisis. Rupee ruble issue has once spoiled our relationship during Cold War, and I hope that it does not spoil it now. Now, what is the problem? The problem is, of course, US sanctions, and rupee ruble payment mechanism is not working smoothly, and lot of Indian rupees are stuck in the Vostro accounts. But the sad part is we have to settle the trade in Chinese currency, which we will never want. The culprit here is not Russia. The culprit here is USA, and India and Russia, they have to find a way out. Now, there are some serious questions. When Russia is going to deliver the last two S-400, because India's security environment is getting deteriorated. So, Prime Minister should get clear picture of this. And this becomes special because Russia-China partnership is also becoming stronger day by day. I will say Russia-China do not have partnership. It is Russia's dependency on China, but India cannot compromise with its security. Now, we may also have some questions which Russians may not be very comfortable to answer. But I would like our Prime Minister to ask these two questions. Question number one: Russia has not supported us outrightly in Chinese excesses in Galwan. So, what was the reason and what were the limitations of Russia's approach towards the Galwan? Or I will say Russia's silence over it. And now, something which has happened very recently, which is very detrimental to India's interest, and that is Russia's invitation to Pakistan to join INSTC corridor. INSTC corridor has lot of importance in connectivity in the Eurasian region, and we know how much hatred Pakistan has towards India. Pakistan is not ready to give us the transit right. India has stayed out of BRI because of CPEC corridor. So, how our equations fit when one of our best friend allows Pakistan to join INSTC corridor? So, there are some uncomfortable questions, but a time come between the two trusted friends that they should do something to clear the cloud so that the climate of trust remains. So from my side, I will request our Prime Minister that he should ask this question, and he should want, or he should remind Russia that it can be detrimental for Russia's own security. So we have to see, wait and watch how much is special and privileged the partnership is. Is India going to have privilege over China and Pakistan, or it is just a rhetoric? Hopefully, Prime Minister ask this question and get a reply. Now, there are few facts you should know that the last summit was 2021. Prime Minister Modi met Putin in Samarkand for SCO summit, but there was no annual summit in 22 and 23 for different reasons. One reason has been that in February, Ukraine war has started. So, what has been India's position on Ukraine war? Of course, India has supported Russia by not supporting the Western resolutions against Russia. But at the same time, we made it a point that India does not appreciate the Bucha massacre, where around 500 people have been reported killed, and Russia has answerability. Now, another, the constant threat by President Putin with respect to the use of nuclear weapon. So let us see what is there on the table, what will be the outcome. Let us keep on watching, and hopefully the two friends, they understand their privileged partnership and give substance to it. Now, with this and with the hope that Prime Minister Modi will be able to get India's security concerns addressed, we wish him all the best for his journey.